Hello YouTube, Wes here, checking in with a brand new edition of Movie Time with Wes. I believe we're on episode number 8 of the actual show here. This is a show where I talk about movies we've recently watched and let you know of some of the things I've been picking up recently over the past couple months. Some new titles, thrift store titles, all that kind of stuff sort of lumped into one. So let's go ahead and get into the reviews of what we watched recently. First one we watched here, Strange Brew, Rick Moranis, Dave Thomas. Classic comedy here. I hadn't seen this one before. This was very funny. I really enjoyed this movie. Funny movie. They sort of stumble their way into this brewery. They just want to get some beer and uncover all this whole big plot of crazy plot that the owner of the brewery is trying to do. It's just a funny movie. As I said, I hadn't seen it before. Definitely had a lot of laughs in this one and enjoyed it. So really funny movie. If you just want something lighthearted and funny to watch, that was a good one. So that was one of the movies we watched. Next up, not necessarily a funny movie, but an enjoyable movie. I was surprised at how much I liked this one. This is the movie ATL. Set in Atlanta, just following this sort of family, groups of people in Atlanta and how their interactions happen. Really good movie, really enjoyable. Definitely has a very southern kind of feel to it, and yeah, I like this movie quite a bit. So ATL, definitely check that one out. Next one, I'm not sure. I believe this probably was a made-for-TV movie. I don't know a lot about it. I was not able to find out a lot about it. This was kind of just an obscure find, but John Cash and June Carter Cash in The Baron and the Kid. So this is sort of taking on the theme of The Hustler, those kind of pool movies. I think they were pretty popular around this time, and this was probably just exploitive of that. Johnny Cash plays sort of an old-timey pool hustler, trying to make a comeback kind of thing, finds this kid, works with him, and then sort of has his return as well. Very along the lines of The Color of Money, if you've seen that before. It's very similar in that way. Yeah, it was just okay. It was cool to see Johnny Cash sort of acting and stuff, doing this, and some of the pool playing was neat to see, but overall, didn't love this one. It was an okay movie. Okay, next up we got a Criterion release here. This is one I picked up in the November 2019 sale, I'm pretty sure, and that is Liliana Cavini's The Night Porter, originally released in 1974. Yeah, The Night Porter it's a movie dealing with post-war Europe, and the war ended, but there's still these people who were Nazis that are still around. There's still people who, were imprisoned by Nazis and all that kind of thing. So it's a very interesting topic to deal with as far as how these people sort of learn to interact with each other and the relationships that were formed under those kind of situations. Yeah, I wanted to really love this movie, but unfortunately it was so predictable, and the whole time you're hoping something that's not predictable happens, and what you expect to happen happens, and it's so disappointing and so depressing. And maybe that is the whole point of the movie, but when I watch movies, I like to be surprised. I like to be I like things to surprise me, and this movie just did not do that. What you expect to happen in the end ends up happening, and it's very painful, and I'm thinking maybe that's the point, but yeah, it was a tough watch. But yeah, The Night Porter, Criterion Collection number 59, so an early number there, low number. Enjoyed it, didn't love it. It's a tough watch, as I said, but yeah, based on that, if you think you might like it, give it a try. It's excellently shot, well acted, all that stuff. Just a difficult topic, and not a great resolution to the topic. All right, next up, I got a classic here from the 80s, Eddie Murphy in The Golden Child. Of course, I've seen this many times before, but I hadn't watched it in a while. Watched this DVD version of it. It was fun to watch once again. But yeah, definitely enjoyed that one. It's always a fun one to watch. Okay, moving on, another Criterion Collection movie, and that is 1984. Definitely very fitting of the times we're in now, the turbulent times we're in now. Yeah, I'd seen pieces and bits and pieces of this movie before, but I'd never actually watched it. 1984. I really enjoyed this movie. I thought I might enjoy it just based on the topic. Really, really well shot, really well acted. Definitely gave a very interesting sort of moody theme, and just very, very well done. I was really impressed at how much I liked this movie, and all practical effects, not anything. They're not doing a bunch of CG or anything. Just really enjoyable movie. So I was glad to pick this one up on the Criterion Collection. Glad to have it in the collection. I definitely enjoyed it. This is Spine number 984. I think I did mention that when I picked it up. Of course, just dropped the one from the title there. That was cool that they did that. So really good movie. Really nice bonus features on the Criterion Collection release as well on that one. Okay, the next one we have to talk about here, this is a TV series from Hulu. The TV series for John Green's Looking for Alaska. 8-episode series about these kids who go to this sort of boarding school, and it's hard to explain. It's definitely a John Green title. It was kind of tough to watch because the way the actors played the parts, they're very sort of unique and very out there and very, very eccentric, I guess is the best way to put it, the way John Green writes his characters. But it comes off on screen a little bit fake, like nobody would really act like this. And, you might come across one person who's this eccentric in a group of people, but with all the people being super eccentric, it just doesn't, it seems fake. Unfortunately, it's difficult because while it's true to the story, true to the writing, true to John Green's writing, it's not necessarily believable. It's difficult to believe, but it's tough. It's a good story. It was enjoyable to watch, but a little bit difficult to really believe. It's shown and portrayed as it's a realistic event kind of happening kind of thing, but it's very, very much a fantasy kind of thing, I think, is the best way to approach it. If you can approach it from more of a fantasy standpoint, that these are just sort of characters playing roles rather than real people in a story that happened to these real people, then it makes a little bit more believable in that respect. But I definitely enjoyed the show as far as the writing and the plot and the way it was shot and all that stuff was good. But Looking for Alaska. And then the last one we watched most recently here, it wasn't quite on the 5th of November, but it was very recent, and that is the V for Vendetta from the Wachowski brothers. This was recently just re-released in 4K, so I wanted to rewatch my DVD of this and decide whether I want to get the 4K of it. And I think I'm just not going to get the 4K on this one. This movie sort of has the same kind of themes as 1984 did. Kind of the people rise up against the establishment kind of thing, and it's enjoyable, but I think this kind of pales in comparison, considering I enjoyed V for Vendetta. It was an enjoyable watch. I hadn't watched this one, and I think I watched it in theaters, and I watched it when the DVD came out, and then I don't think I've watched it again since, so it's been a while since I've seen the movie, and I don't think it's held up as well as I would have liked. When I was a younger person, I enjoyed this movie a little bit more, I think. An enjoyable watch, but not a great one. I'll keep this DVD, but I don't think I'll be upgrading to the 4K on that one. So those are the movies we watched. Now let's get into the movies. Some of the movies I picked up over the past couple months. I'm not going to show everything just because I picked up so many, but I picked out a small selection of stuff to share with you. First one here, this one was recently as well released to 4K, and another movie I haven't seen before, but I went ahead and got it. It was a really good price when it came out, so I went ahead and grabbed it, and that is Requiem for a Dream, the director's cut in 4K. So I picked that one up for the collection. Hopefully get to that one pretty soon. And then while I was in Best Buy getting the Requiem for a Dream, they had another 4K that's pretty recent. It's a steelbook and it was only $8. So I thought, what the heck? I haven't seen this movie. I heard a lot of hype about it. I figured for $8 we'll give it a shot. And that's the new Stephen King's It movie. 4K steelbook for $8. Sure, why not? I'll give that a try. So I went ahead and grabbed that as well. All right, this next bunch of movies here is another pickup from Hamilton Book. I did do another sort of shopping trip over at Hamilton Book through the clearance section. All of these were $4.99 or under. Most of them were like $1.99 or $3.99. I did some really bargain shopping here. First one we got is an upgrade copy to Austin Powers Gold Member movie. I do own this on DVD. I believe this is my favorite Austin Powers movie of all of them. It's been a while since I watched them all, but I do remember enjoying this one quite a bit. Definitely wanted to upgrade that to Blu-ray, so I picked that one up. Next one is a blind buy, just like the synopsis of it, so I thought I'd give it a try. The Miseducation of Cameron Post from writer-director Desiree Akvan, based on the celebrated novel by Emily Dickinson. So yeah, that'll be an interesting one to check out. This next one I am very familiar with. It's been on my Amazon wish list forever, and I saw it in the clearance section on Hamilton Book, and I thought, yeah, well, I definitely want to grab this. This is Roger Corman with Eat My Dust, and it features Ron Howard acting. And he's kind of in his teen years. He's one of his later acting roles before he gets into being a director. He kind of just this punk teen kid. He steals this. He goes to the races, steals a race car, and sort of is on the run through the whole movie. It's a fun movie, an enjoyable movie. I've had this on VHS forever, and it's only available on DVD. I don't think it's ever had Blu-ray or anything like that done to it. But just a fun sort of piece of Ron Howard history, and it's a Roger Corman movie, and it's enjoyable. But yeah, definitely wanted to grab that when I saw it. I was happy to see that. This next one, I believe it's a French film. Just again, the synopsis of it was interesting, so I thought I would check it out, and that is the movie Backstage. Next one is a documentary series about this gay couple who starts a farm. I thought it sounded like an interesting plot, and it seemed like something good, and had some good reviews on it. So I thought I would check it out, and that is the Silver Lake Life, The View from Here. Another blind buy that just looked interesting from the synopsis, kind of a fun sort of Friday night kind of movie, I guess the best way to put it. Anna Paquin in Free Ride. Got some muscle cars in there and some action and stuff. Should be a fun one to check out one evening. Next up, we got the movie Summer Lover. Sapino Novelle. Don't know anything about that. Again, it's a blind buy. Another documentary movie that sounded interesting. This is The Same River Twice. Apparently these sort of hippie kind of kids go take this trip down the river in 1969, and then years later they go and do the trip again when they're adults, and it kind of follows them of how their lives have changed over the years. So sounded like an interesting movie, so I thought I would give this one a shot. Another documentary here, we have Following Sean. Sean is apparently the kids of these hippie parents, and he's interviewed at some point, and says these crazy things on this interview, and then people sort of go back and find him years later again and see how his life has changed over the years. And it had an interesting synopsis to it, and I thought I would go ahead and check that one out. And here is a movie based on a Jack Kerouac novel, and that is the movie version of On the Road. Thought I would give that one a try. And then the last one from Hamilton book here, Fields of Glory, University of Florida. I live in Gainesville, Florida, where the University of Florida is. So this is a document. They do these Fields of Glory documentary series about the different stadiums. And I thought it'd be cool to sort of see the changes of the stadium over the years. I've lived here all my life, so I've seen a lot of these changes. But it'd be interesting to learn some more about the history of it and stuff. And I'm pretty sure this was a $2 pickup. So those are our pickups from Hamilton book. Let's get into some of these thrift store and used titles that I picked up. These first couple here are from the Second and Charles, which is kind of like a half-price book kind of store. They sell used media and books. They buy and sell, I should say. This first one here is Shut Up and Play the Hits. It's a documentary about LCD sound system. So I thought that was a neat one to pick up. Picked up something from the Warner Archive series. This is a sci-fi movie that looked kind of fun. Moon 02. Just Cowboy Up for sci-fi lunar adventure. And then a movie I have the soundtrack for on vinyl, and I saw this in their clearance bin. I thought, well, I better grab the movie too so I can actually see the movie. And this is the movie The Stuntman. Looking forward to checking that one out. These last ones I have to share with you are all thrift store finds. 2-disc special edition DVD of the movie Gigi. This was a really fun find. Nicole Kidman in BMX Bandits. This is her first film role, and she was 16 years old in this movie. It's kind of one of those 80s BMX movies. I don't see a year on this, but I guess you'll have to figure out what year Nicole Kidman would have been 16 in. But yeah, that was quite an interesting find. I look forward to checking that one out. Picked up the movie Fanny. A copy of the movie Dope. Heard good things about this one. It's a pretty new movie, actually. Yeah, look forward to seeing that one. This is another one that I've been sort of on the hunt for. Finally got it, so I was glad to have this. This is another one I have on vinyl. Wanted to have the movie itself. It's a documentary. The Talking Heads Stop Making Sense. Directed by Jonathan Demme. Yeah, this actually has more tracks on it than the vinyl record itself, so that's pretty cool. I guess that's the full concert. At the same time, I found another concert DVD that I wanted to pick up. This is Neil Young and Crazy Horse, Rust Never Sleeps. Really, really good track listing on this one, so I was excited to find this one, pick it up. All right, and the last thing I have to share with you for this episode, just a fun pickup, another DVD. And this was filmed in Central Florida, and I wanted to sort of revisit this movie. I hadn't seen it in quite a while, and that is the movie Edward Scissorhands. Sort of classic there, sort of Johnny Depp's breakout role, I guess you could call it. Yeah, so that's going to do it for this episode of Movie Time with Wes. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you for watching. Leave me any comments or questions you have down in the comment section down below. Please subscribe if you aren't already so you can be kept up to date with future episodes. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, great night. Enjoy some great movies, and we'll see you again real soon. Cheers.